Thanks again for joining Real Talk with Natoya Perkins. If you're joining for the first time, I want you to go right ahead and click that subscription button. Share it right now so your friends can join in this wonderful conversation that we're going to have with our special guest. Today we have Mr. Martin Matthews, who was here with us last week sharing his story about his opportunities, where it has brought him from and where he is now. So Martin, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Mr. Martin, last time we left off, you were telling us that you have now migrated into Florida. So share a little bit about that. What inspired you to, compile all of these poems and the inspiration in that?
Well, coming to Florida was just to find a better climate that was more conducive to me because it's what I'm used to as far as growing up in Jamaica is concerned. As far as the book is concerned, when I was in college, I wrote a lot of poems for a lot of friends. So I'd have friends that would come to me. They were in the doghouse, so to speak, and they'd say, Martin, man, this is what's going on, and blah, blah, blah. And I'd write them something, give it to them. They'd give it to their significant other, and they'd come back to me and say, my youth, the thing shut.
It's set.
because they would get back into the good graces of their significant others. And I wrote several poems like that in college, both for male and females. And it was pretty much at that point that I realized, the effect that the written word have on people.
That's true.
And so I just kept writing from there, essentially. When I relocated to Florida, I was here for a while. When I got remarried, my new wife is one of the people who encouraged me to take more deliberate action where my work was concerned. So I started compiling, I know, right? That's when I started compiling everything that I've written and essentially chose which ones I wanted to include in the book.
Okay, wonderful.
And based on just observing people. There's several other poems that I wrote just by observing situations. Some of them are specific to what's happening at the time. These poems kind of capture a moment in time. So it takes a situation and it zooms you in on it.
So if you want to hear more of Martin's poem, I want you to stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Real Talk. We are here talking with Martin Matthews, sharing on his wonderful book, Love, Life, Confrontation, Expressions, with lots of wittiness, lots of humor, lots of sexy words for his poetry. So I want you to continue to listen. Go ahead and call out your mom, your dad, everyone, your friends and your boyfriends, your girlfriends to come and hear these poems that they're going to find interesting. Martin, I'm sure the people are sitting on the edge of their seat from last week, waiting to hear what is coming up. How do you think this will, this book of poems will build a man's entire character and his emotion, and in turn boost a woman's romantic side like mine? That has not been, because sometimes women, their love and romantic side has not been awakened because, as you rightly said, the men are not really being brought up with a lot of emotions, to share. So how do you think
different women respond to different things.
Right.
But women like when a man expresses himself. In fact, for most men, if they come home one day and their significant other say, we need to talk, they're looking for the closest exit. They're ready to go, because sitting down and talking about stuff and feelings is not something men typically like to do. And for anyone in a mature relationship with a female now, this is an important skill to have.
Definitely.
Okay, and for females, they will get to see the other side, that this is doable.
Right.
Men are out there doing this. Men are out there that are capable of doing this. I have a dozen female friends that are professional women that are single, not because they want to be single, just because they're waiting for the right one. And I think a lot of times it's because some men don't rise to the occasion. why this becomes a problem for them. And mind you, I have a lot of great male friends too that are out there and they're doing it. But then we have a lot of other men too that are dropping the ball because it's hard. It's hard.
Right.
Having relationships is not the easiest thing in the world. So some men just refuse to rise to the occasion and do the right thing to sustain a long-term relationship.
And I remember when we were talking off camera, you were telling me about this apple. Tell us about that apple.
The apple picking thing. Oh, I think what I had said was that for some guys, they like low-hanging fruit.
Wow.
You know, and if there are women out there who presents themselves as low-hanging fruit, they'll pick the fruit and be happy.
Right.
You know, there are other men out there who don't want a low-hanging fruit. They're willing to climb the tree all the way up to the top to pick a fruit that has been ripened to perfection.
Right.
There are other people that just want to stand on the ground. They don't even want to jump. They just want to stand, reach their hand up and pick a fruit. And that kind of speaks to what you're willing to do to make a relationship work. You know, I've seen gangster rappers that were gangster rappers back in the 80s now coming out and singing a whole different tune. You know, they're making different music. They're speaking, they're walking around and talking to people at school, even DJs in Jamaica too. Some of them that were badman DJ are walking around talking to people in school because they're realizing that there's another way to do this.
That's true. That's true.
Another way we can do this. We can always go the macho masculine way, but what does that get you? If at the end of the day it doesn't get you somebody that you can love and somebody that loves you, what is the point?
Doesn't make a sense at all.
We can all go out there and get all the physical pleasure we want, but that'll last tonight, and then tomorrow, then what? You know, we can go out there and, you know, have all the kids we want to have, but if you can't take care of them, the kids don't love you, the kids don't grow up in functional homes, you don't affect their life in a positive way. What is the point?
That's so true. So you're basically saying this book, not just only for men, females also can learn from this, and it will build their character of themselves, and also to look for something that is more than just the low-hanging fruits.
Yes, absolutely. There's poems in here that I've written that I wrote after meeting my wife, and I never wrote poems like that before meeting her. You know, I'll make a confession. When the demo copy of the book came home, I said to her, I need you to sign a disclaimer agreement. You cannot ask me any questions about any poem in this book that predates us meeting each other. I will not answer any questions about it. And she was fine with it. She said, okay, no problem. She read through the book. She said, it's good. I came home one day, I don't remember how long after, there were 12 pages folded in the book. And she gave me the good old, Martin, we need to talk.
Where's the exit?
I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. We've had this conversation. You signed a disclaimer. Exactly. There will be no questions. And she was like, who's this about? We didn't meet yet. I thought this was about me the first time I read it. But no, when females read these poems, they'll thoroughly enjoy them. For a man that, even if he's out there playing the field, you know what I mean, you still see situations in here that speaks to his lifestyle. If it is a man that has taken onto himself someone that he decides to spend the rest of life with, he'll find something in here too that speaks to his situation.
Right. To share a few of your poems with me.
Few, she says. Okay, let's do one for now. This poem that I'm going to share with you is called Emotions. Emotions. The words, the feeling, the vibe, the meaning, the staring, the looking, the sweet, smooth talking, the missing, the longing, the wanting, the yearning, up all night, no sleeping, anticipation steadily rising, the thoughts, the thinking, the fuzzy warm feeling, the guessing, the knowing, these feelings overflowing, the petting, the touching, the hugging, the kissing, caressing and stroking, the heartbeat thumping, the bumping, the grinding, the sweating, the wetting, the sucking, the riding, orgasms on timing, the cooling, the calming, recouping, relax, the drinks, the sipping, do-over, rewinding, just emotion.
Wow, Martin, you have me sitting here. I have a smile on my face the entire time. This is so I mean, men, if you are listening, this is something, if you have your wife, you have your partner, your spouse, whoever, this is a poem you have to get. Share another one with us. Maybe something about life or confrontation or expression.
Let me see here. I have one from Confrontation called The Lion. The Lion. I was walking by the mirror when I saw him, like a flicker of light in the corner of my eye. So I looked, but he was gone. So I turned and walked away, but like a shadow, the feeling stayed, ever present in the shade, like a decision already made. He always rises to the call. His presence always gives me pause. I anticipated his return. He's like a lesson I have to learn. He thinks I've been offended. He perceives it his duty to defend it. My futile attempt to resist his hold, his consciousness rising like a Spartan sword. I'm drawn to the mirror again. I see him now. Hello, old friend. 1 year, 4 months, 3 days. I can feel his latent rage, the inevitability of his control. Bruce Banner's gone. Now the Hulk roars. Why should I contain this reckless bliss? He's part of me. My Egyptian Sphinx, torn apart like Django's chains, a parasitic element seeking to reign, cheap thrills at will like a crime spree. In his mind, he's trying to free me. My molecular chaperone is he, both possessing the same properties or intentions at a total impasse. I see his logic, but I can't take the chance. A few rounds in the ring like Fight Club. He spikes my adrenaline like a light bulb. Will this erupting struggle be my life? Can I surgically remove him with a knife? Am I him? Is he me? Who came first? Amputated from him, what could be worse? A fluid solvent are we? He is I, and I am he, the lion.
Wow.
So there are several things in this poem that kind of speaks to it in a struggle. There are phrases in there like an Egyptian sphinx. An Egyptian sphinx is part man, part lion.
Right.
There's a line in here that talks about a parasite essentially seeking to reign. A parasite is something that lives on something else.
Right.
It's trying to take over the host.
Wow.
Right. So there are several things in here that speaks. There's another reference in here about Fight Club. Fight Club is a movie that the entire movie you're watching it and you think there are two people involved. And at the end of it, you realize there's only one
Just
guy.
one person.
He's fighting with himself the entire time.
I think we can take one final poem. You have mixed it up a bit.
All right, here's what I'm going to do for you.
You know me already.
I know. So I'm going to give you one more of what I think it is that you want. Okay?
Okay, let's see.
This one is called Flashback. It says, my sheets still wear your scent. My body still wears your marks. The images are clear in my head, even though we're far apart. Your little knickknacks adorn my place, like sentinels all around. It's like a part of you in every space, from the ceiling to the ground. The kitchen still smells of your cooking. The refrigerator arranged to your suit. I sit in the sofa daydreaming, wanting to taste your fruit. Then I think of the misunderstanding, the things that didn't go just right. And I vow in my heart to do better because I cherish your very sight. I wish I could give you my heart to hold so you'd know it beats for you, alleviating all your fears by the knowledge that our love is true.
Oh, Martin, you're speaking to my soul. You just met me and you've been speaking my language.
Well, here's the thing. I completed a tour. I remember telling one person that came up that you're going to find a poem, and while you're reading, you're going to find yourself looking over your shoulder, wondering where I am. Because there's no way I could speak to your situation so specifically without knowing you specifically.
Okay, Martin, I enjoy those poems. I mean, and all the sweetness going on, and then pop, that misunderstanding just hit you, and it come to your realization, oh, can't lose this person.
In Jamaica, a lot of men didn't express themselves this way. A guy in Jamaica in high school doing home economics, they look at something like, guys don't do that, you know. But I have friends that did that and who they're now professional chefs and they're good, you know. So it's like writing poetry was something that guys don't write poetry. What's this about? However, there's a lot of celebrities now realizing and talking about, finding one person and dedicating their life to that person and making that person happy and so on. With the way I saw families when I was growing up, men that have families all over the place. And when the situation got complicated, they just left and bounced to the next female and bounced to the next whatever. I felt like it was necessary to write poetry in this way so that someone could read it and realize that there is another way to deal with women. There is another way to communicate with women. It is okay to identify an individual that actually works for you and spend the rest of your life making that individual happy. And there's nothing wrong with that.
So tell us, share with us where this book is available for us to read.
I know we're running short on time. Real quickly, the book is available if you're in Jamaica, you can get the book at Fontana Pharmacy. So it's at Fontana Pharmacy in both Kingston location. It's in Mandeville Fontana Pharmacy and in Montego Bay Fontana Pharmacy. And pretty much anywhere else you can get it on Amazon.com. You can search my name. You can search the title of the book. I also have a Facebook page dedicated to the book. It is called Chronicles of a Black Man. So you can just go to Facebook.com/Chronicles of a Black Man, and it'll take you to my page. And there is a Shop Now option button on there, and you can select that. You could go to martinmbooks.com, and there are options on there to get the book as well. It's available in paperback version and Kindle version.
Wonderful. And we will just like to say thank you all for joining Real Talk with Natoya Perkins. I want you to go right ahead, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Send some love to Mr. Matthews in that comment box. Share your love. Tell him about your story, or even just say hi to Mr. Matthews so he can know what you're thinking and how much you appreciate him sharing his words